Okay, so this is my Haze dashboard, and we can see here that there are information, some relationships, and also some trends. So let's click to find out more. So in this information page, some people might want to know whether haze is really more than just a smell, or is there really some other impacts. And yes, there are impacts, short-term impacts and also long-term impacts. And also people might want to know whether they should actually wear a mask, because the mask can be not so fancy, but is it really important? So over here we have some general health precautions, and also N95 information, whether you should wear a mask and when you should wear a mask, and also some indicate based on the PSI we have some precautions, so 100 to 200 PSI, 200 to 300, and also 300. So let's click to find out more. So over here we have the PSI in Singapore. That's basically by regions: north, south, east, west, and central. And we can perhaps select a certain date, so maybe 2015 September, and maybe we'll go for 25th. And if you would like to select a time, you could do this. You could drag, or you could also go for a time range, so maybe 10502, and also perhaps I'll go for 432, 32. Okay, so over here we can see that these are the results of the PSI, and over in the south it is the worst, and perhaps this is because it's closest to Indonesia. And we can see that this PSI over here is actually hazardous according to this legend, above 200, very unhealthy to hazardous. And in this gauge chart we can see it's in the red portion, so it's pretty bad already, and we can see it's 263.9, so it's also hazardous. So this is the overall average PSI. So now we look at the relationship between PSI and health. Health meaning the admissions for polyclinic and hospital patients. So we can see actually that in the 4th to 5th month there's a rising trend, but in the PSI there is no rise. So is there really a relationship? Let's find out more. So we can see when the PSI drops on the 10 to 12 month, it seems that over here in the patients it also drops in the 10 to 12 month, over here and over here. And perhaps there's some kind of a relationship there, whereby when the PSI drops, there are less people really getting the sore throats or lung infections, things like that haze causes. However, when it comes to health, there are many other issues that people can get sick, so it's not just PSI that's the main causer of this. So over here we have we want to find out whether PSI actually is linked to cause of death. Does it really affect death? Does haze affect death? And here are the 6 indicators which make up the PSI, and I have this from 1999 to 2014, so these are their trends. And over here we have the cause of death, over here being all the diseases, the different types of diseases, and also over here are the main categories. So we only included circulatory and respiratory system because this is what haze causes. So let's dive a little deeper and look at 2012, 2013, and 2014. So over here we can actually see in here, okay, maybe we'll just use the respiratory system. So we can see in this graph that in the respiratory system there's a rising trend from 2012 to 2014, and this is mainly caused by pneumonia in yellow, so it's a rising trend also. And so we cross-check over here in the indicators that is there any rising trends, and actually it doesn't seem that there's any rising trends, and this one looks more like a straight line, so we can change it to a bar chart to see closer. So it seems that it's going up a little and then it's going down. So actually there are no rising trends, which is a good thing. That means haze really doesn't cause death, which is good. So let's focus on PM2.5, which is one of the indicators, and let me on the web view one of the indicators just now. So over here we can see that for PM2.5 it increases from the 8th to 9th month and then decreases in the 10th to 12th month. And over here in this map we can see that it's actually a heat map, whereby the areas that are getting hit the worst will have this more darker hue, this red area, and those that are lighter are definitely getting hit lesser. So let's perhaps look at the worst months. So let this load. Alright, so these are rising trend and then going down. So let's just look at the map and see where is getting hit the worst by this PM2.5. So you can see that actually, oh, it seems that Novena is getting hit pretty bad with these red areas here, Novena. And we can see that when it's a kind of a lighter hue like Bukit Timah, it's actually has 37.4, which is just unhealthy for sensitive groups. But then as we look at areas like Novena, Balestier Road over here, that actually it's actually considered unhealthy already over here in this area. So this is how the heat map works. And also in this gauge chart we can see that the overall PM 2.5 is actually 39, which is also actually unhealthy for sensitive groups. So continuing on, we look at the relationship how rainfall actually affects PSI, and over here in this chart it's kind of fluctuating, kind of complicated to look at. So we can actually look at this log transform chart with both variables inside, and we can actually look at this relationship whereby in the 8th and 9th month, when the rainfall drops, it seems that the PSI increases. And from there, when the rainfall increases in the 10 to 12 month, it seems that the PSI decreases. So there's some kind of a trend whereby rainfall affects the PSI. When the rainfall increases, the PSI will drop, and vice versa. So over here we look at the relationship between PSI and sales, and these are just the main categories of sales and just a summary of it. And also we can see that we want to know whether haze actually affects sales, and we can see I would just like to go out and say that some sales are not affected by haze, because this is kind of a methodical thing that you always have to do. Like petrol, you always have to pump petrol. It's kind of a steady trend. And also perhaps going to supermarkets to get your groceries is a kind of a trend, what you have to do in a methodical way. So there's no it's not really affected by haze. But then when we look at things like wearing apparel, footwear, things that you can shop for, there seems to be some of relationship whereby in the 8th and 9th month, when the PSI increases, the sales will drop. And in the 10 to 12 month, as the PSI drops drastically, the sales seems to increase also in the 10 to 12 month. And this is also the same for recreational goods, things that you can buy. So there's a drop in the 8th and 9th month, and then an increase over here. So I would just also like to say that it's not all because of haze, because in the around the 10 to 12 month, it's kind of Christmas period, people will go out and shop more. However, I think that as the haze drops, it actually encourages people to go out, because it doesn't smell as bad and it's actually better for the body, so people will probably go and shop more. So this will be all for my dashboard. Thank you.